Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuno and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had isotone.
All right, so yesterday we had a little successful segment where OB kind of came in, deconstructed a play for us. You know, he just does research at all times. This guy came in today and found even more wrinkles to the same play we broke down yesterday. If you've forgotten, it's the Anaya Smith touchdown against Alabama. I'm actually going to go to a different play in that game here later on in the segment. But OB, good morning. It is the Go Hour here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. You've watched that play, I'm going to say, between 13 and 22 times in the last 24 hours?
Easily.
Easily. And you found a new wrinkle, not that we need to show up on the screen, but just something to make people excited about when it comes to this upcoming season from an offensive line perspective.
Yeah, I actually decided to check out or try to chart how many times Reuben Fothery was matched up against Will Anderson in that game. Because Will Anderson, people are saying, and probably rightfully so, that he's the best overall player in college football.
He could be the number one pick, they're saying.
And number one pick.
Yep.
And I admit I probably missed some. But I found 28 plays that I found. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying that's all there was, but where he was either lined up directly opposite Reuben Fothery or on that side. And a lot of times they ran away from him, you know. But I counted 2 tackles. And on the play we're talking about, everybody remembers it, the game tying 31-31. Tied at 38-38, I guess it was, when they throw the touchdown pass to Anaya Smith. Will Anderson comes off on the pass rush hard. He's going with the speed rush. And Reuben Fothery, at whatever he is, 6'8", whatever, has the quickness to get back and cut off that speed rush. So he cuts it off and then absolutely stonewalls him. Mm-hmm. And if you'll go back and watch that play and just focus on Reuben Fothery, on Will Anderson, you cannot block it any better, no matter who you're against. But when you're against the guy that everybody say is probably the first player taken in the draft, an All-American, and maybe the best player in college football, and you watch the way that play in particular, but many others, where Reuben Fothery not only holds his own but just wins the battle.
Yep.
I don't know how you don't look at Reuben Fothery as a serious All-American candidate this year.
You have to.
Based on that. Remind
the audience how many times Zach Calzada was sacked in that game?
I think that would be 0.
0 is correct. Mm-hmm. He was not sacked at all in that game. And we know he was a little bit limited with his legs compared to some others. You know, Haynes has got a little bit more of the escapability. But Zach had some nice runs last year. In fact, in that same game, there was a play where he scrambled for, I don't know, what was it?
10, 11 yards.
Yeah.
And on that play, Will Anderson is blitzing in from the left side, or maybe you want to call it, he's rushing from the left side. And Fothery makes contact with him and just pushes him out of the way. He doesn't try to, dominate him or anything. He takes him where he wants to go. And he shoves him right past Zach, and that opens up that lane where Zach Calzada ran for 10 or 11 yards to the right. So based on that game, Zach Calzada is a Heisman contender, right?
Sure.
Based on that game. So I need to do more on Reuben Fothery, but based on that game, Reuben Fothery deserved to be All-American.
Well, we're going to continue this Deconstructing a Play series here on the show. In fact, today is a lot about memories, at least in the first hour, because we are going to continue on with our best moments of the year. We'll do that at 8:20 this hour. We're also going to deconstruct a different play from that Bama game that I want to get OB's second set of eyes, excuse me. We'll do that, and we'll have Stephen McGee on the show at 8:35. Hour number 2, Billy Lucci joining us for his weekly hit. No Friday live show, so he's coming in today. He'll join us at 9:35, and then the fan show at 10:35. A little bit of news to get into first. Athlon, which, correct me, that's where you write the A&M preview?
Yeah.
They have A&M potentially playing in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor. What do you think about that?
I like the idea of it being Sugar Bowl, and I understand you got to play a Big 12 team if you're in the Sugar Bowl. But, again, personally, I would like a matchup against somebody from somewhere else, that we're not so familiar with, and just because I like to see other teams. That said, I think A&M should aim higher.
Yeah, they should absolutely aim higher. But I think a year from now, if that's the game they're playing in, and they get another victory in a New Year's Six Bowl, then the offseason feels way different, right? Like it's not this offseason, which was I would say mixed results offseason or a mixed bag, because you have the number 1 recruiting class, but you also went 8-4. So there's that when you talk about the national perception, not just the A&M fan perception, but the national perception. Yeah, you guys did great, but you went 8-4. You get another New Year's Six Bowl, and that'll be 2 out of the last 3 years. It's a different conversation you're having.
Yeah, and it's an even different conversation if you're in the playoff.
Oh, that conversation. Can we have it, please?
That's what I think they should be shooting for.
Well, I think they are shooting for that.
But I know what you're saying. Athlon says, they're going to be really good, just not playoff good.
But if you are...
And historically, SEC teams do not do well in the Sugar Bowl because...
They all think that they're playing in a bowl,
it's a consolation prize.
Right.
And when you've just got so close, that means you got really close to getting into the playoff, and you just don't have the same. Florida, half their team didn't show up to play Oklahoma. Yeah. Georgia, half their team didn't show up to play Texas. But on the other side,
they're all coming.
Yeah, because hey, man, we get to beat an SEC team. Auburn lost to UCF.
Right.
So historically, yeah, it's great to go. Everybody likes the trip to New Orleans, and hey, you're in a New Year's Six Bowl, so there's some prestige to that. But at the end of the day, it's still a consolation.
Well, let me ask you this, because things could change. How many NFL guys are on this roster that will be in the NFL next year or have a chance? First round, a lot of people are saying Layden Robinson and Antonio Johnson. Damani Richardson's probably a NFL guy.
No, he's an NFL guy.
Anaya Smith is obviously an NFL guy.
Without a doubt.
Right? Who else am I missing?
Devon A-Chain.
A-Chain's another NFL guy.
He's a first-round pick.
Yeah, you need those guys in a bowl game. Sorry. So let's. But think about this too. If you are playing in the Sugar Bowl, that means pretty much all year long you've been in the conversation for the college football playoffs.
Yeah. And if you're in the conversation all year long, but end up in the Sugar Bowl,
Yeah.
That means more to the fans than the players.
I agree. All right, let's deconstruct the play. We're going to go back to that Alabama game, all right? And I'll set the scene here because A&M just just scored a touchdown, okay? And they're going up on Alabama at this point, 17-7. But Bama is rolling, and Bill O'Brien says, you know what, guys? Instead of running the ball on 3rd and 1, we're going to pass. Let's go to the play if we can, if we have it up. There we go. And who comes up with the big play, OB?
Damani Richardson. He's in Jaleel Billingsley's hip pocket and reaches out to I think when on this play, as Billingsley crosses over, kind of a drag route, even, maybe not classic. Again, he's Richardson's right on his right hip. I think he's trying to just knock the ball down. Get in, make sure it's not completed on 3rd and goal, and maybe hold it. But then the ball bounces up, and he has
his momentum's pushing him almost out of bounds at that point because the ball's up, and he has to make the play on it.
Right. If he makes the pick clean, when it first deflects up, if he makes the pick clean instead of having to, juggle it on his helmet.
There's nobody there.
It's probably 100-yard pick six.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a 100-yard pick six in my opinion. One thing that I'm remembering about this game, this moment, what A&M did in that game, not only were they the first to strike, they also countered. Every time Bama did something, A&M found a way to counter. A touchdown, okay, we're just going to run a kickback. You're going to try to score here on 3rd and 1, whatever it was. We're going to get an interception in the end zone. They countered. They take the lead in the 4th quarter. What does Zach Calzada do? He becomes a Heisman Trophy winning candidate at quarterback.
Yeah, he is really, really good. We all know in that last 5 minutes, got good protections. We've talked about the last 2 days, but made some real clutch plays, made some good throws, and Weidemeyer, who had a couple of drops in that game, is catching everything on the last in traffic on the last drive. A-chain runs for a key first down on 3rd and 2. They get the big stop. Isaiah Rake's big defensive play.
Sure.
They get a break when Billingsley, it's a tough catch because he's falling down, but he drops the ball, and then Edgerrin Cooper gets the deflection, and then that last drive. Yeah. Just so well done.
So well done. All right, so we'll continue breaking down plays this offseason as we get closer to the SEC Media Days, which
what are we 70 days out from the season?
I think it's less than that. I think we're like 65 days out from A&M game. Yeah, from college football starting, I think we're 65 days out. Almost here, buddy.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it is the offseason, which gives us a chance to kind of look at these the plays and break them down. So we'll continue doing that. Let's go around the room and say hello to everybody. By the way, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can on the A&B text line 979-693-1150, or call us up on the BCSI hotline. We go behind the glass. Sam Kamen, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are we doing this Thursday morning? As Obi said, right before a 4-day weekend.
Obi, you answer for me. Go ahead. How are we doing?
Outstanding.
We're doing outstanding.
It's a great day to be alive and in College Station, Texas.
It is a great day to be alive, baby.
That is a good song, too. That's a very good song. It's a great day to be alive.
Is that the Travis Tritt song?
Oh,
I think so.
I think I'm going to make me some homemade soup.
He collaborated with Tupac on that one, right?
I think Tupac was no longer among the alive.
1996.
Is that when Tupac
died?
Yeah. I don't know when
And then Biggie 97, Spring Break. It was very sad.
Wait, he got killed on spring break?
I was on spring break. He wasn't. I don't think he did spring break. He did spring year. The whole year was a break for him, other than when he was in the studio rapping.
And Gabe Bach would tell me that the Aggies lost to Louisiana Lafayette because it was the day after Tupac was killed. So I guess the guys in Lafayette didn't care, right?
No, it was only here in Bryan College Station. What else is up, Sam?
Nothing much. I just saw that OB posted an article about LSU and was interesting. It was a very good read about Brian Kelly, and just wanted to get your thoughts on OB's article.
So is it fair to say I think Brian Kelly is going to be an obvious upgrade to LSU, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be good in the next couple of years? In fact, some people think, the proof is out there. Their recruiting is not up to their standards right now.
No, not yet. I have to believe that Brian Kelly's a good football coach. He's won everywhere he's been, and LSU is a strong program. So they're going to be a formidable program under Brian Kelly. We would expect nothing less, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you get at LSU. You get a formidable program. Are they going to be as good? Here's the big difference. Because LSU's always physical, and he likes physical teams. But the big difference is Ed Orgeron, when it had to have great coordinators because Ed Orgeron cannot X and O with anybody. Mm-hmm. But Brian Kelly can X and O.
But I would say the knock on Kelly is that, and it's not even a knock, but at Notre Dame, he didn't have the hardest schedule. He didn't have an SEC schedule. Nobody doesn't. True. Okay. And at Cincinnati, he didn't have an SEC schedule. So now we're going to find out what kind of coach he is week to week, as opposed to – and Notre Dame takes on big teams every year.
But the Stanford, the Navy, the USC's been down for a long time. You're playing the last couple of years almost a whole bunch of ACC teams, and the ACC minus Clemson, hasn't been very good. But he hadn't had SEC players.
He has not.
I mean, he's had some, but he hadn't had a. So I think he'll be a successful coach. Does that mean national champion? I doubt it. Does it mean that they're in the hunt to win 10 games every year? Yeah, probably.
But not
this year.
But not everybody in the SEC can be good. Not everybody. So, like, really good coaches like Jimbo, like Nick Saban, like you just name them, Napier at Florida, all these guys that are expecting to not all of them can win 10 games because they're playing each other at some point.
That's true. But, you're going to win 4 out of conference, most likely.
Yep.
And then you just,
Can you win 5 or 6 in the conference?
Yeah.
And that becomes the question.
And if you don't, you get fired. Hell, in the SEC, if you win national championships, you get fired.
This is true.
As Philip Fulmer, Ed Orgeron,
Les.
Gene Chizik,
Yeah.
Les Miles can attest.
Yeah, they sure can. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Emily Fiedler. Emily, I said your name weird. I don't know why. But what's going on in your world? Catch up with any 80s TV?
I have not recently. Well, I did watch Urban Cowboy the other day.
You were telling me that. You liked it too, right?
It was a good movie. My dad made me watch it because he's from Pasadena. So.
Oh, really? How about that?
Yeah.
OB, you're an Urban Cowboy fan?
I'll just say that I went through the Urban Cowboy phase back in Longview, Texas.
Is that right?
I did.
You ever been to Gillies?
I've never been to Gillies.
Yeah.
I always went to the Rio Palm Isle in Longview, Texas.
I don't know if it's still around, but in Dallas, they opened up a Gillies.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks used to do like a party there, like a year-end party. And Donnie Nelson was a big Gillies guy.
I loved, and still do, country dancing. Urban and I just don't do it as much as we used to. But, yeah, we always had a good time two-stepping. That all depends on, you asked me what a real cowboy is. That all depends on what you think a real cowboy is. Something like that. I've already butchered the line. But it was a heck of Bud and Sissy.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a heck of a movie, Bud and Sissy.
I haven't seen that movie in maybe 40
The only
years.
thing is there's this one girl who's like, trying to snake Sissy and get Bud. She's real pretty too. I can't Pam. And Pam, there's this one scene where she says, she takes Bud up to her condo and she's looking out. She says, Houston, it's my favorite city in the whole wide world. I'm thinking, baby, you need to do some traveling. I mean, nothing against Houston, but it does get a little better.
What else we got, Emily?
Yes. So first off, the SEC announced the home and away games for the upcoming basketball season, and A&M will host Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. And then A&M softball player Haley Lee entered the transfer portal for her last year of eligibility. And then lastly, Baseball America awarded Jacob Palish All-America second team.
I did not know about Haley. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you very much, Emily. And Richard Zane texting the show saying that Gillies in Dallas still does exist.
No,
so,
I bet Richard knows because he's probably spent a lot of time. Can't you see Richard in his black cowboy hat?
No, I can't.
His really tight black Wranglers and a pearl snap shirt.
No, I can't see it.
And a Star of David medallion around his neck.
Now you got me. Yeah, I can see that now. I can certainly see that. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break so we can get to our next topic, which is the top moments of the year since I've been here, by the way, not of 2022. Right now, we're talking about the Association of Former Students. 140 years they've been around, over 140 years, and they've been helping out the Aggie Association, the Aggie Network, because that's what they do. They want to give back to everybody. They've been doing it for such a long time, and you've helped them do that, to be here, to be there, to be everywhere. They help with scholarships, traveling Aggies, tailgate, muster, class reunions, etc. That's what the association does, and the why is to help out Aggies everywhere. They've been doing that. And now they've captured their stories on a website called IamTheWhy.com. I highly encourage you to check out IamTheWhy.com. It's where they have these stories, and I'll read you a couple of the different options they have, because it's like YouTube. You can just pick the video and hop onto it. One about Aggie Muster, where cadets talk about Aggie Muster, what it means to them to be able to honor Aggies who have passed away. You've got Hannah's story, who works at the association, talking about her personal experience with Aggie Muster. Kobe, an international student, talks about the struggles with getting off the ground and how she started a student organization to help others like her. That is what the stories that they're telling on IamTheWhy.com. Highly encourage you to check it out, IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting the 3rd annual I Love America donation drive at the Brazos Center on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. All donations support families in need through the Salvation Army BCS. For more information, visit csnoonlions.org. The Daughters of the American Revolution will place a patriotic wreath at the American Revolution statue at the Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Park in a ceremony on Saturday morning at 9. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6. Fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Swing free all summer long at Big Shots Golf. Get your Hot Shot Summer Pass and enjoy perks you won't want to miss. With the Hot Shot Summer Pass at Big Shots Golf, you'll get 2 hours of tee box time for up to 6 people per day. Plus, kids 12 and under eat free on Mondays, and you get special summer perks valued up to $200. Get the Big Shots Golf Hot Shot Summer Pass today while supplies last. Buy yours today at bigshotsgolf.com or swing by.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
The Louis Bellina Show and Field of Family would love for you and your family to have the bestest, greatest summer ever. Enter now, go to zone1150.com, and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to Fiesta, Texas, Six Flags. Go to Cinemark Theater. Go to a Brazos Valley Bombers game. Win a gift card to Superior Auto Service and Field of Family. Enter now. You can win Treat the Family to a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to zone1150.com.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. And it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm a doing alright. Yeah, I think I'm getting some
off at the end of the bat, but got some carry out to the wall. This ball's gone.
What a shot. Dylan Rock, the Grand Slam. What a game. We're going to break down the top 12 moments of the year, or number 9, I should say, on the list. We're actually going to push that back to 9:05, but we wanted to give you a little teaser of that because it was such a great moment. Dylan Rock there, horns down, taking the horns down.
I was in
New
York.
We were both at the NIT, yeah.
Yeah, and when that happened, who was watching that? Jamie.
Yeah,
Jamie
on our
was
laptop.
watching it, and it was like, for that moment, it was like, the heck with this basketball game. Look what just happened.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about that around 9:05. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Garner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Since we have a short segment before Stephen McGee, let's go to the News and Social Center where we have some text messages about the topics we started the show off with, Emily.
Yes, so hopping back on the football subject for a second, Chase in Houston says, will the real question be, would the Super Bowl be a consolation prize for A&M, who historically hasn't played in that type of game? I think it would be huge for these players to play in that type of big game, and they would be up for it.
Well, if they're playing in the Super Bowl,
yeah,
it's good.
Sugar Bowl might be different.
Bowl, sorry.
Would you take the Aggies over the Texans in the Super Bowl?
Yes. No, of course not. Of course not.
No, but if
that's assuming the Texans could get there, right?
I don't know if they could. I don't know if they'll be eligible.
I always hear that. Alabama fans were, if Alabama was in the NFL, they would beat this team. You're like, no, they wouldn't.
No,
because
they wouldn't.
Every player in the NFL is an NFL player.
And not everybody on Alabama is an NFL player.
Right.
Although they got a lot.
They do. But if the NFL team was sufficiently motivated, they would win the game.
All right. What about Alabama versus the Houston Gamblers?
That's a different story because they're not NFL players.
Right.
I might take. And they could set that up because all the games are in Birmingham.
They're in Birmingham, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I would take Alabama in that.
But I'll say this: while we want and need a college football playoff appearance this year, next year, while we want a national championship, stack up these New Year's Six bowls. Sounds great to me because to me, I want that to be the bottom. If your bottom is
okay, I'll be with you. I'll agree with that.
I want that to be the bottom from now on. That's a bad season. Just got to the Sugar Bowl where, you know what, we kind of understand why players are skipping the bowl game and going to because their aspiration all season long was for a national championship. Let's get to that caliber of team.
Absolutely. And again, if you're in the Sugar Bowl, that means that you are absolutely in the discussion or, in the thick of the race for the playoff.
Yep.
And so if you get in there, you're like, oh, okay, it's great to be here. But, do you really pay attention? How hard do you pay attention to the NCAA tournament when the team that you like is out?
I can't watch it. Well, I mean, it's been a while since A&M has been in that world. But, I know what you're saying. It's for all sports, right? Maybe the NFL is the one that I can continue watching through. But, when A&M season is done, I'll watch the college football playoff games because I'm a sports fan. But it's hard to watch it when the Rockets would lose in the playoffs or, the Cowboys.
And are you as invested?
No.
Of course not.
I'm just kind of paying attention. It doesn't matter anymore.
So why do you think it's different from the players, especially like you kind of mentioned earlier? A lot of them are just saying, there's nothing at stake here. I'll just sit out and get ready for the draft.
Well, because like weekend warriors typically are, anytime it's a competition, let's go.
Okay.
But the preparation for that does change.
Sure does.
So if you're playing in a weekend golf event with some buddies, are you going to train as hard if you're playing in the U.S. Open? No, there's a different kind of intensity that goes with it.
There is. And again, on the other hand, your opponent say, hey, we got a chance to beat an SEC team and show we belong and beat our chest. So it does mean more. And you can, to that other team, it's they kind of take the SEC motto for a game.
So, and I'll tell you this for sure. I believe when you sign up for an event, okay? So, we talk about your fitness sometimes. If you sign up for a golf event, a triathlon, it automatically, whatever it may be, your intensity steps up as opposed to I need to look better by a certain date. And I'm telling you, athletes don't realize, they probably do, but it's the same kind of thing. If it's the Texas Bowl or if it's the Sugar Bowl, there's a kind of a different intensity when you go to practice because the stakes are higher.
Absolutely. And that's why I think, again, did Ole Miss didn't win their bowl game last year, right? They lost it, but of course their quarterback didn't play.
He got hurt in the first quarter, right. I believe. Yeah. All right, we'll continue this. Stephen McGee coming up next here on TexAgs Radio. If you want to text the show on the A&B text line, you can do that. But we'll have Stephen on the BCSI hotline next on the show.
Who cares if he's wearing a medium and tight pants?
3, 2, 1, go.
It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuno on The Zone.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money.
But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today for
the biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Spent the whole last segment talking about how awesome Jimmy Johnson is. Now you're here.
As a kid, watching Jim Neighbors singing Back Home Again in Indiana, I would get the goosebumps. I'm not even from Indiana.
Gary Payton, Hall of Fame point guard.
For my son showing kids, it's not a big deal to have a disability. Just work through it and become the person you're going to become.
UConn women's basketball superstar Paige Beckers.
A couple years ago, this whole NIL thing didn't really exist. Doing it while inspiring the next generation of basketball players is awesome.
Three-time NBA champion Sean Livingston.
At the end of the day, we're all people. We play a game, but we're all dealing with real life, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Cooper Cup Super Bowl MVP. I have to ask you about the McVay wedding.
The moment that stole the show was Sean and Veronica on stage singing California Love. After that happened, I was like, okay, well, we can go now.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
All right, we're back. We call it TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. It's our last live show of the week. We're going to have a recorded show or best of on Friday and on Monday as well. Hopefully everybody enjoys their 4th of July festivities and holiday. OB's with me. We go to the BCSI hotline. We're joined by Stephen McGee, Paragon Financial, our QB1, and our good friend. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Good, man. What's going on in your world? What you got planned for the 4th?
You know, whatever my wife tells me to do.
Right.
We're about a month out from due date, so these days it's the honey-do list. Keep her happy and keep her in the AC and all that good stuff. So.
Yep.
Y'all know.
Yep. We do know, my friend. Hey, so with the Arch Manning news out there, I wanted to ask you, not necessarily about him, but how often do you remember from your playing days and after and even before, these can't-miss 5-star quarterbacks? Like, do you remember times, I mean, I know there's been plenty, where it just, it was a bunch of hype and nothing happened, and then some of the guys who did live up to the hype?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, you can look at any class, and I think it's true not just on the college level, but also on the NFL level. Look at first-round NFL picks at quarterback position. It's anything but a guarantee that these guys are going to become starters and be good college football players, much less NFL guys. Are they talented? Sure, but being talented on a field in either 7-on-7 or just routes on air is very different than real life, and that's why guys like Major Applewhite can get overlooked in the recruiting process, because when they're throwing routes on air, they just don't look very good. But when the pressure's on them and the world is chaos, those guys have a way of just making plays, and it's a beautiful thing. And that's why you got to show up on Saturdays and make it happen. And it's always fun to watch these stories unravel, because you have the Matt Stafford who you think, man, this kid as a sophomore, junior in high school at Highland Park, you're thinking, how does this guy not become a first-round pick? He's just so talented. And then you see him win a Super Bowl. But on the flip side, I had guys in my class that really never went on to do much of anything at all. So you definitely see both sides.
I'm going to throw out some names to you guys and just kind of let's remember what the hype was, if we can remember that. OB, I know you covered most of these guys. Tim Depot, he lived up to the hype.
Absolutely. In fact, as good as he was, overhyped, but definitely you would have to give him respect and say he was one of the better quarterbacks in college football history. Not the best, as so many want to bestow upon him, but one of them.
Here's another one for both of you guys that I remember very well, Jimmy Clausen. I like that laugh.
I saw Jimmy. I went up to cover a Notre Dame game against USC, and Jimmy Clausen looked like a 14-year-old kid. I mean, just skinny, and
Yeah.
I mean, I know you get a chance to build up, but I mean, you'd have to go some to come up with somebody more hyped. I mean, he was okay, and he got a cup of coffee in the NFL too. But
yeah,
I think we could come up with somebody who's pretty overhyped.
I got another one for both of you.
That was from around here.
Oh, go ahead.
Kyle Allen.
Well, there you go. He's actually on the list as well. What about here's one for you, Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah. That is arguably the most overhyped college player, though I will say he's kind of resurrected himself a little bit, so to speak. He's had a longer NFL career than I would ever thought he had.
Wow.
And I think the true it's also the same with Kyle Allen. I mean, he was not a very good college football player, especially at Texas A&M, but he's found a way to become a very sought after. I say very sought after. He's a consistent number 2 quarterback in the NFL, which is a hard job to get. And that pretty much means that you've got to be one of the top 64 quarterbacks in the world. And that's what someone's bestowing on him. And so he's not terrible. But I think to OB's point, and I would agree with him, is he's not a great player at A&M. He doesn't have that wowza. This guy has an incredible arm, incredible leg.
Was he able to maintain his starting job at Houston?
No, he wasn't the starter.
Yeah.
He actually got beat out at Houston.
I'll tell you the guy that I think may be the ultimate example of this is Jeff Driscoll.
Oh, yeah, Florida, absolutely. Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy that was supposed 5-star everything, best player in the country, or best quarterback in the country? I think he replaced Tebow.
That sounds right.
And just didn't happen.
I got one that did live up to the hype, guys. A man that I met as a kid, Andrew Luck. He had a lot of hype coming out of Stratford High School, and he lived up to that.
Well, without a doubt.
I think it was.
Without a doubt.
Great player.
Could have won the Heisman, except Robert Griffin had a more spectacular year.
Yeah.
And, there's another guy that lived up to the hype. I don't know how much hype he had. I know Texas wanted to play him at safety.
That's right.
This is no disrespect to our friends to the north, but when you can win the Heisman Trophy at Baylor. That's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
He went to Baylor.
Really
and won the
is.
Heisman Trophy. He went to Baylor and won the Heisman Trophy.
And when Baylor was just starting to get good, Hey, Steven, I want to ask you about LSU because OB had this column on them, and just do you expect turnaround to happen quickly for them, or do you think it's going to take some time?
I think it's the answer squarely falls on, I think for many, like it does at many schools, how good are they going to be at quarterback? And I know they get Miles Brennan back, who has a lot of experience, but how talented is he? Does he have enough ability to take them to the top? And then you have the kid that transferred in from Arizona State, and he's a good athlete, but I don't know, he's a little all over the place to me. I'm not sold that guy can be the answer for a national title. Then they have the coach's kid that was looking to come to A&M at one point, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a contender. I really wouldn't, because they have so much talent. It's LSU at the end of the day. But I think it's largely going to be dependent upon how much he can get out of that quarterback position in year one. And I know it's a tough transition in year one of a new system, because you have guys, even if they're experienced, are getting exposed to, new a new way of doing things and a new way of reading defenses and a new playbook and a new language. That's tough.
I think they'll be better because, they have a better coach. I would think 8 to 9 wins would be very realistic for them. I mean, they won 6 games last year. They were awarded with 6 games last year.
They were awarded.
But it was such a just a chaotic mess last year. And you can see what you want to about Brian Kelly. He's a good football coach.
Yeah, he is a good football coach. But I told OB this earlier, but we've seen him at Notre Dame, at Cincinnati, where they're not taking on SEC schools. You could be a really good coach and be humbled when you get to the SEC, Stephen.
There's no doubt. And I 100% agree with you on that. It's a different type of football. We'll see how he adjusts, right? I mean, proof's in the pudding. He's going to get a shot. And he's going to a great program. They're going to spend. So it will be an interesting storyline. To OB's point, though, he does win. And so I'm not, for whatever reason, they find themselves every year near the top, continuing for that playoff spot. And you got to tip your hat to him, whether you like him or not. As a human being, that's kind of irrelevant.
I'm having a senior moment because I had this profound question that I was going to ask McGee, and now I can't think of it. So I'll just bide time by saying, just telling you, McGee, I really miss you not being in here with us.
He'll come in football season. He'll be here.
Because the other day, I missed when we were in the break. Just the other day, I was telling our new intern about that story I told you when I had that mistake, that misfortunate time I went into the wrong latrine.
Wrong bathroom.
Wait, do I know about this story?
I don't know.
It's a great story. It's all time.
Radio okay?
It was only the same, right, on the radio.
Okay, so you'll tell me off air. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm sorry. I had this senior moment. I had this great question. Now I can't remember it.
Well, I'm going to ask Stephen a football question. You know how much Jimbo likes to use tight ends. Got a different group out there this year. How do you think that all plays out for the Aggies? And do you think they're going to continue to try to but go to Jake Johnson, go to Max Wright, go to Donovan Green? Do you even with Jalen Watermeyer gone now?
Yeah, this is funny. We had this conversation yesterday at lunch with Seth McKinney, who was a great offensive lineman at A&M in the NFL, and he was talking about how much he's heard, guys raving about these 2 young tight ends. The Swedish guy being an extremely athletic guy, and then obviously the Johnson brother, who's going to understand football and be a great route runner and all those things. But this is the interesting, I'm not trying to debate whether these guys have talent or not. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you got some really good young tight ends, but that is a difficult position to play early because it combines both the physical adjustments of you have to now line up and block an SEC defensive end in the pass game. That is an extremely difficult task for a 4th-year left tackle. But much less a kid that was in high school that's probably not physically fully developed yet. But then the mental adjustment too, right? I mean, you've got to know the run game and you've got to know all the run calls with the offensive linemen. But in addition, you've got to know all the pass game. You got to know all the routes. You have to know all the route adjustments for different coverages. So you've got to be an expert in all phases of the game. Tight end is an extremely difficult position to play, and especially in Jimbo's system. But the opportunity is extremely high. And I think that's why tight ends like this come to A&M, because they know if they make it on the field, they have a good chance of playing at the highest level for a long time.
And I always say Jalen Watermeyer was really good as a freshman. And Jace Sternberger, although not a freshman, was in his first year in Jimbo's system after being at a junior college and a sub-junior college at Kansas. So I still expect productivity, and if you need the physical guy on a certain play, then you bring in Max, right? So I think there will be good there. We talked earlier about Reuben Fothery and some of the blocks and the way he stonewalled Will Anderson, and I just wonder how you, being a right-handed quarterback, would you rather him be on your right side where he did so well last year, or would you rather him flip to the left and your blind side, or do you just not mess with something that's working?
Well, I think we talked about this previously, but Tyron Smith in Dallas, they drafted him his first year. He was, I think, the youngest football player to be drafted, or one of the youngest ever. He's like 19 years old. First round pick out of USC. They started him first year at right tackle, and they put Doug Free at left, and then they flip-flopped because obviously he was just so talented, and you want your best guy at left. And so there was some adjustment for both guys because everything is it's almost like you're driving in the US and you go to Europe and you're on the right side of the road. It's just you're like, wait, my natural tendencies are completely off. And so there is that adjustment period. But man, if it's me, I think you definitely move him to left. And if for whatever reason he just can't do it at left, then I guess you can always have him back at right. But he's just so dang good, OB, to your point. God, he's talented. That's another young guy that you got to be excited about. You're talking about the transition. That's a hard place to transition to. Offensive line, like tight end. And these guys have done it well. So all the more reason for Aggie fans to be super excited about the ability of these young tight ends, offensive linemen to come in, have an impact early.
All right, let's continue with Steven on the other side of this break. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Right now, caller number 1, we're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. They are Aggie-owned and operated with the friendliest staff and a personal touch. They offer a monthly membership, but we'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station. 979-693-1150.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Friends of the Wheelock Schoolhouse invite you to their 4th of July barbecue and parade. The fun starts at 10 a.m. at the Wheelock Schoolhouse. Come to the VFW on July 4th for an evening of water slides, water balloons, and cornhole. Festivities are from 5 to 7 p.m., and there will be a 13-fold ceremony at 6. You're invited to the 3rd annual Drive-In Fireworks and Drone Show at the Rellis campus. The parking lot opens at 6:30. The show starts at 9. Patriotic music will be broadcast on WTAW in sync with the show. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History is offering free admission for active duty personnel and their families through Labor Day. Visit brazosvalleymuseum.org for hours and more information. Enter now at zone1150.com to win your Texas Summer Survival Kit thanks to Field to Family. Win tickets to Fiesta Texas, the Bombers, the Cinemark Theater, and gift cards to Superior Auto Service and Field to Family. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold you lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
You're going to say something?
Where was he? I'm going to test both of y'all. Where is he standing on the corner in this song?
Oh, well, that's either Tyler, Texas.
No.
Oh, sorry. Steven?
Burnett, Texas.
Yeah. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
Oh, I knew that.
Man, I did too. Golly.
That is a famous song and a famous line.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit disappointed with McGee.
You expected that from me.
I figured you wouldn't know, but I thought, McGee would know.
Well, it's bullcrap that I don't know it, guys. It's presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, Tom Line Plumbing, great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. Website, tomlineplumbing.com. Stephen, what's bullcrap?
I'm going to go with what's not bullcrap. How about our A&M spring sports? It just, Schloss and the baseball run, incredible deal, year one. We talked about that last week. And then how about just track and field? These guys are incredible over there. Coach Henry just got consistently, great athletes that they bring in over there. The World Championships, Brandon Miller, Anthony Moe. I mean, just consistently great people like that. Great human beings. It just what a deal that just doesn't get talked enough about, right? The type of people that they produce over across the tracks over, and the spring sports, just and consistently too. That's not bullcrap. Kudos and congrats to all those programs.
Excellent one there, OB.
Yeah, it's kind of bullcrap with some of the Aggies out there that are panicking over recruiting. And how many times do we have to go through this? That there's this panel, we're behind. I think at this time last year, A&M was somewhat behind. And then in July, they start gaining momentum. And then come December, Jimbo always puts together a really strong recruiting class. Why is there, just because Texas has signed a few or got commitments from a few people, you're like, people acting like, the sky is falling around here. I just don't get it. That's bullcrap, man. Let the guy who has always come through for you, do his magic.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I have one who thinks Texas might be pretty good this year, but then I started looking through their schedule, and I'm like, Bama loss. I could see them losing to Tech at Tech. Flip up with Oklahoma, Iowa State. I'd say they lose. Oklahoma State, I'd say they lose. Okay. Now they're starting, and they always lose to TCU, I feel like, and they'll lose to Baylor. So maybe they're going to be terrible again.
It seems like every year I say they're going to be 8-4. And they're going to lose it to Oklahoma and Alabama and somebody else. And then there's going to be one game they're going to lose where you're like, how in the world did they lose that one?
I think it's bullcrap that AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, is not going to have a game to start the season, college football game, I should say, and neither is NRG Stadium, apparently. I didn't know this, but I'm looking at it. Both of those don't have it. AT&T Stadium says because it was too low of an attendance last year for the Cowboys Kickoff Classic. It depends what schools come out there.
I prefer college football on college campuses.
Yeah.
I do too. 100% agree with you, OB. That's one of the greatest things about college football is the actual atmosphere of the college campus and what goes on.
Steven, have a great 4th of July, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Y'all too. See you guys.
OB, stick around for one last one. We're going to do Moment 9. Best moments of the year on TexAgs Radio.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career I can be proud of and supporting my family.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
I'm a veteran. My victory was going from homeless to home.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran, and my victory was finishing my education.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support for victories great and small.
My victory was proving that disability is not a limitation.
My victory was getting my service dog a new best friend.
We help more than 1 million veterans every year as they face and conquer their challenges.
My victory is being able to be there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Want to listen online? Not sure of the prize rules? Would you like to learn more about your favorite host? Go now to zone1150.com. Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan. Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. 5 Bryan police officers are involved in the apprehension of 5 teenagers who ran away at 4 in the morning on Tuesday. According to BPD arrest reports, one officer was investigating a burglary of a motor vehicle in the Autumn Lake subdivision of West Bryan. When a second officer drove past the group, then made a U-turn, the 5 teens took off. After a third officer deployed a drone, the teens were found about 3 blocks away. All 5 were charged with evading arrest. The burn ban passed by Brazos County commissioners this week does not include fireworks.
Those are 2 different bans, and when you start talking about a fireworks ban, there's some thresholds that have to be in place.
Deputy Emergency Management Director Jason Ware says the burn ban covers controlled burns outside of city limits. The largest employer in the Bryan College Station biocorridor is growing again.
Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies has announced expansions totaling $1.6 billion in Denmark in the biocorridor. In the biocorridor, the growth is in equipment. Another $22 million in technologies being spent towards cell culture manufacturing. Fujifilm says this supplements last December's announcement of a $300 million expansion that's adding 150 more jobs. They're planning to start a new production system after 2023. A Fujifilm facility in Denmark is adding 450 jobs as part of an expansion that'll make it the largest contract development and manufacturing operation in Europe. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
The Bryan City Council got its first look at next year's proposed budget yesterday.
I know one thing for sure about this forecast, and that it's wrong.
Chief Financial Officer Will Smith says he will have a better idea of property tax revenue when final valuation numbers are known a month from now. He's forecasting that the growth of sales tax revenue will decrease. The council directed Smith to find out how soon either tax rate decrease would put the city in jeopardy of falling below 100 days of operating cash. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Where did I put that?
Pete's property manager just took an extended vacation. He needs a replacement before this becomes a cruel summer.
Oh, you wanted the lakefront for the 17th. How did this get double booked already?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
We're looking for the best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, South 40 Veterinary Clinic, Arrow-S Pest Control, Ground Shuttle, and Radiant Dentistry. Voting ends July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M men's basketball's conference opponents for the upcoming season have been released. The Aggies will host Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt at Reed Arena. Meanwhile, the Maroon and White will visit Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Mizzou, and South Carolina. Now, the official dates and times are set to be released at a later date. Former A&M running back and current Cincinnati Bengal Travion Williams is returning to the classroom as a professor. Williams, who played for the Ags from 2016 to 18, will reportedly serve as an adjunct name, image, and likeness professor at A&M School of Law. He will co-teach the course with sports attorney and business consultant Alex Sinatra starting in the spring of 2023. Nothing doing for the Brazos Valley Bombers last night as they were blanked by Baton Rouge 1-0. The Rougarou scored the game's lone run in the third inning when Lane Hutchinson drove in Brock Slayton on an RBI single. Aggie Brandon Bishop did provide 2 hits and a walk for the Brazos Valley, which falls to 15-7 on the summer. The guys will try to rebound this evening when they return home to host the Seguin River Monsters at 7. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
Winslow, Arizona. Duh. TexAgs Radio, presented by David.
Yeah, Kay knew.
Kay did know. She was so excited, too. She was like, I finally know one of your songs.
She says because her parents listens to it all. They like the Eagles.
So this is not too new for you, but it is new for me to be around people that I work with that I am their parents' age. Yeah. That is freaking weird.
I'm their grandparents' age.
Well, this is true. You're my grandparents' age.
In fact, when I was in Omaha, I met Kay's dad, Steve, and he told me he's from White House, Texas, which is, not too far from White House. We used to play on my football. And I went, wait a minute. I was working at the Tyler Morning Telegraph then. I asked her, I said, did your dad play baseball?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah. I said, pitcher, right? And I'm like, I remember this guy. And then as a receiver in football, I just met her dad, who's younger than me, of course, and I remember him as an athlete at White House High School. So
just so weird.
How old is that?
It's old. Yeah.
It is old.
So if I'm Papi, you're abuelo of the show.
I guess so.
You're abuelito OB.
Grandpa. In fact, we had a guy, Perry. He was a camera guy, and he used to travel with us, and he just called me Granddad. Everywhere we went, he'd say, yeah, and Granddad would like some more tea or something like that. I'm like,
hey, I want to give a little PSA for those who are aspiring journalists in the world. Somebody reached out to my wife about trying to get a gig in media. And, I guess they don't have any experience in media, and their resume is all, what they do, which is non-media stuff, and they're wondering why they're not getting a job in media. Your resume should say that you can do the job that you're applying for, some experience. If I wanted to go be a lawyer tomorrow, I could not.
Well, here's the deal. Everybody hears you talk about sports. And they said, well, I have a sports opinion. What they don't understand is that's the easy part of the job.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of other things that you don't know about that goes into it that, I can come on and talk about sports, but the reason how come I talk about it is because I've been trained as a reporter, and I'm not saying that it's the same as being a lawyer, but there's things you do to build up your resume.
Well, I want to do that. Okay. Then do what most of us did. Get experience like Emily's doing and Kay's doing and all that.
There is a process.
There is a process. All right. Sorry for the PSA. It is now time to go through the number 9 moment. I joined TexAgs on July the 6th of last year, so we're going through the top 12 moments. We've already done, obviously, 12, 11. Now we're moving on, and 10. We're now moving on to number 9. And it is when Aggie baseball took down the Horns in the midweek game, which was in March. I don't remember the date, March 26, 27, something like that. It was spring break-ish. We were in New York City for the NIT. Now, the part I don't remember, was it the Final Four or was it the actual championship game? I think it was the Final Four game, right?
I don't recall. I don't want to say because I could be wrong.
I think it was the Final Four game, and Richard's probably listening. He'll text me here in a moment. But at that point, let's kind of remember where we were. We did not know that Aggie baseball was the team that finished the season number 3 in the country. They were still not on the radar. They were a team that too many things had to go right for them to make the tournament, but there was still a chance. But there were no guarantee. There was no shoe-in. They did win that first SEC series to LSU, but then they had lost to Auburn. They beat Rice that week, 15-8, but they were down in that game, I believe, 8-6 after giving up 6 runs. So this is all in that same week period. So we didn't know about the bullpen. We didn't know about how good the offense could be. But then you go to the Texas game, and we saw the highlight earlier. Dylan Rock, a historic night for the Aggies and for Dylan Rock, who goes 5 for 5, becomes the first Aggie to hit first cycle since, I guess it happened in 2018, so a little bit of a stretch. And there he goes yard to give a little distance. This wasn't the game winner, But this really, the horns down was what most people will remember from this moment. Just a great day, which gave you a feeling like, here we go. Aggies are on to something.
Well, was it not the game winner? I mean, 8-4. What was
the
final?
Yeah. The final in that game, I don't know. I don't have it here.
And
12-6, I guess. I don't remember. No. Sorry, they won that game 12-9.
Okay, so it wasn't the game winner. You're right.
No.
But yeah, that definitely. Well, what a moment though. When he gets that grand slam right there and gives you a big lead. Now, who hit for the cycle in that game?
Wasn't it Jack?
Jack Moss. Yeah.
I think it was Jack Moss. Yeah.
And like you said, we were up in New York, and everything with baseball was put on pause so we could watch this game. And I don't know, you'd have to ask Schloss and everybody, but was that the real turning point? Because you mentioned they'd won a series over LSU, but then they had lost a series to Alabama, maybe not yet, and Auburn.
Yep.
I wonder if you could look at that as the turning point of the season. Maybe that particular home run.
That particular one. Oh, and no, excuse me. Yeah, Jack Moss, he finished 5 for 5, became the first Aggie to hit for the cycle since Chris. Yeah. So I got that part right. So, but Dylan Rock was just incredible. It was Moss who went 5 for 5. I read that wrong. Another thing about that, towards the end of this piece that Richard Zane wrote, okay? And it's one of the last lines in it. A win over the Longhorns, the number 3 team in RPI, will certainly provide a much-needed boost to the A&M resume. Again, remember where we were at that point where, we're trying to see if A&M can get into the tournament. Will they? There was no talk of hosting a regional at this point. There was no talk of a super regional.
Just get in.
Just get in. That's how big that moment was. And after that, they took off.
Yeah, they did. I think
I
would
think
have
they lost to, was it to Bama after that? They lost to Auburn and then Bama sandwiched in between those two.
Yeah, they were 14-9 at the time. They beat Texas, or they had just played Auburn and lost. They go to Alabama and lose, but after that, they had right after Bama, they beat Texas State in the midweek game, and then that was when they got on their roll and then Kentucky, and that's when they went on their SEC run.
Richard followed the team a lot closer than I did for most of the year, and I think it'd be a really good question to put to him or Ryan or any of those guys on if you had to pick out one game, one at bat, one series, what was in your mind the turning point of the baseball season?
I would say that right there.
The win, the home run.
I'd say the win.
Okay.
But the home run was part of the story.
The home run sparked it. Gave him that 4-run lead. And so maybe that was the turning point of the entire season.
It might have been. And really, the turning point might just be Schloss talking to the team behind the scenes, right? And the Pringles and all the things that started adding up to the success that we saw.
Pringles. Wish I had some of those jalapeno Pringles.
What is the line? You can't just have one. I know that's not it, but something like that.
Yeah,
once you pop it, you can't stop it.
Yeah, that's the Pringles line. He messed it up, but it worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah. One of the things that gets lost though with the Dylan Rock home run is the fourth inning was there was no one on, 2 outs. Logan Britt gets a single through the 5-6 hole, 2 walks. Rock's down 0-2 in the count. And Texas thinks that they've got him dead to rights. Miss a call. They think the umpire misses a call, gets it to 2-2, and that's when Rock you wouldn't think the way he hit that ball, it was like off the end of the bat, outside, pulls it into the left center gap, but the way the wind was blowing, and I mean, Dylan Rock is strong enough we've seen it. I mean, he hit 18 homers this year, something like that.
Dropping knowledge there.
I mean, that's what I did last night. I watched highlights of all the Texas games and then watched some golf.
Hold on. Of all the Texas games?
Well, there was two games.
Against A&M.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to watch Longhorn stuff just to watch Longhorn stuff.
I watched Longhorn Network to see a basketball game so I could watch Logan Lee play.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much time that I actually spend on the Longhorn Network, and even then, it's just like,
I don't.
I mean, how often can you watch the 2005 national championship? I mean, don't they have that on like a
they have it on repeat.
Reel? Yeah.
I haven't watched it since 2005, to be honest with you.
I remember watching the game that night.
Are there any Aggies that were rooting for the Longhorns that night?
No.
Can't imagine. So I was a big Reggie Bush fan.
I have to admit, I was rooting for the Longhorns that night. I mean,
you were living in Austin, right?
I was living in Austin.
Yeah.
You were covering the Longhorns?
I was not. I was not there. I was covering the Aggies by then.
Okay.
Yeah. That moment, though, one of the top moments of the year, the one that I didn't get to watch live. It was more like watching it on Twitter highlights as the game was happening because we were at the NIT, right?
Yeah.
You may have seen that home run live because I think Jamie had it on while it was happening, right?
Yes.
I was on the floor. I think you guys were in the press room. In the press room, yeah. And I remember like my Twitter goes crazy, and I go like somebody eventually posted the highlight. I'm like, yes, let's go. I believe it was the
that's
Final
when
Four
I
game.
realized just what a big baseball fan Jamie is.
Oh yeah,
she's insane.
She was watching the entire game behind the scenes. Yeah,
she's. I mean, look, whatever you like. I'm not that big into baseball, but whatever you like, be passionate about. And Jamie's definitely passionate about baseball.
She is certainly passionate about baseball. Did you see the story about Travion Williams?
Yes.
I think that is such a nice story.
And he's a sharp guy, and he's gonna be like a associate professor in charge of NIL or something like that.
So for those who don't know the story, he's going to be doing an NIL class at A&M Law School, but the way he got there is kind of backwards, okay? So there was a article from Above the Law, which I guess is for a bunch of lawyers, like giving you the moves happening in law, and it talked about Texas A&M law, and I think one of the lines they used as a throwaway line, you might think Travion Williams was doing the rushing there, talking about how good the A&M Law School was doing. And I guess it was the back half of the top 50, ranked 35 through 50, saw quite a bit of movement. Congrats to Texas A&M on their run into the top 50. Hell, you might think Travion Williams was doing the rushing there. So that started a tweet where it said, hey, congratulations to Travion Williams and A&M Law. And he was like, what are you talking about?
That's funny.
He had no idea. Well, that sparked a conversation with Alex Sinatra, who's a sports agent, and I guess she went to A&M as well. And they got together, and they came up with this idea, and they presented it to A&M Law, and he was on her podcast talking about it, and he thought it was a joke, let him start thinking about the idea. Then they met with the law school, and then the idea of teaching the course came out because what he wants to do is bridge the gap between understanding between law students and student athletes about NIL.
I think that's great. Travion's he was always one of my favorites. He carries himself very well. He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be able to explain maybe in ways someone else could not. Or bridge that gap of understanding.
Yep.
That I could not.
He was very close to winning the Super Bowl, by the way. Cincinnati was very close.
Tell you a quick story about we were out for the Gator Bowl, and they were taking media and people to different things. We were going to tour a ship, and at the naval base there, and they put us on a bus with the players.
Mm-hmm.
And guys being guys, they're talking a lot of stuff, just having a good time.
Yep.
And Travion looks around, notices that there's a reporter. He goes, "Guys, language," and everybody responded.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you the kind of leader and kind of respect that Travion Williams had on that team.
I like that.
He just said language, and everybody stopped.
I'm gonna try to get Travion on the show soon, and we could talk about that. That's kind of a cool deal. Hey, last thing before we hit a break, I had thought about doing this segment earlier. It's a "Don't Sleep On" segment, a player not to sleep on. I'm just gonna throw you his name, and I'm gonna give you some reasons why I think you should not forget about what this guy can do for this team. We'll do different guys throughout the offseason, but don't sleep on Chase Lane. I think people forget about the kind of impact he can have. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. And people forget a lot because of last season, the injury that he had and miss a significant part. But he is a guy that I think can really round out that wide receiver group.
I think so. I think if you'll go back, because I've done this, and chart his he doesn't have a ton of catches, but if you go back and chart his catches, so many of them were for big first downs.
Sure.
I mean, I go back to the Florida game on the third and long and he gets the 16-yard reception, that means they don't have to attempt a 50-yard field goal to win that game. In the Sugar Bowl, he only had one catch, or maybe it was the Super Bowl.
Orange.
But it was she didn't hear, but it was like a big 20-yard catch on 3rd and long. I mean, if you'll go, he had the turn. You say he's not the fastest guy, but he turned a short pass into like a 50-yard touchdown against Mississippi State. When he does catch it, they usually are big catches.
They're impactful catches, and I think people forget about him, because of the injury last year, and also you got these new toys you want to play with, right? You got Evan Stewart coming in, and he's got the big playability. You've got Anaya Smith coming back, and he's got this chip on his shoulder regardless, right? He's coming in to do something big for Texas A&M this year. You think about some of the other gadgets, the Moose Muhammad's, the Chris Marshalls, and Chase I think sometimes is forgotten. But this, if I remember the numbers correctly, he was the second leading reception leader on the team when they went to the Orange Bowl in 2020. So he's a guy that they will throw to. He just was injured last year and didn't get back on.
Yeah, good play. And there's probably a few receivers you don't want to sleep on.
No.
I think of Jalen Preston. The last time I saw him, he was making plays left and right against LSU.
Yeah, he was.
But I love Chase Lane.
Buddy, I hope you have a great 4th of July.
I do too. I hope you do too. I know you're going to enjoy it out on the waves.
Yep. We got a house sitter, so the dogs are going to be good. We got somebody taking care of the crib, so no crazy people coming by. And
nothing says July 4th and American pride than taking a trip to Jamaica
and Mexico and everywhere else we hopefully will end
up.
I'm
envious.
Yeah,
enjoy.
It'll be fun. Thanks, man.
You bet.
All right, right now we're talking Heritage Films. Chance McClain's company, yourheritagefilm.com is the website. They make documentary films about your parents. They make documentary films about you. They make documentary films about people important in your life. And Chance is really the most creative person I know. He's started a radio station. He's done these Broadway musicals. He's had movies nominated for awards. He's gone to red carpet shows in Los Angeles. He's been all over the place. He's a good old guy, normal dude, down to earth. His daughter Gunn goes to Texas A&M. She's studying film. She's got a passion for it. They work together. They collaborate quite a bit. And he did a story on my father that this weekend we're going to be giving to him. And it's just an awesome, awesome piece. Emotional, and I think he could do great work for you guys. And it's such a great gift to leave for your family, either to give to somebody that you want to honor, or also to honor your last name, honor your history by doing a story on yourself. It's a great thing. Yourheritagefilm.com is the website, 713-893-8341. That is 713-893-8341. And before I forget, OB, I've got to do it one last time because I'm going to be gone for a week. He is the greatest superhero ever known as
Heritage Man.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting the 3rd annual I Love America donation drive at the Brazos Center on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. All donations support families in need through the Salvation Army BCS. For more information, visit csnewlions.org. The Daughters of the American Revolution will place a patriotic wreath at the American Revolution statue at the Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Park in a ceremony on Saturday morning at 9. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6. Fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
The top of his head hit the cab of the truck, and I was told by the medical examiner that he pretty much died instantly. His blood alcohol was twice the legal limit, so he shouldn't have been driving. He was 25 years old, had a beautiful family, had his whole life ahead of him. Never thought I'd have to write one of my kids' obituaries. There's nothing wrong with going out and having a good time, but do not choose to get behind the wheel.
Learn about the real cost of drunk driving at facesofdrunkdriving.com. Sponsored by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Where did I put that?
Pete's property manager just took an extended vacation.
Let's go see the dreams.
He needs a replacement before this becomes a cruel summer.
Ooh, you wanted the lakefront for the 17th. How did this get double booked already?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, Cherry Rafino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Enter now at zone1150.com and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit presented by Field of Family and the Smokin' Aces Barbecue Team. Impress the guests at your next backyard barbecue when you serve locally owned, locally grown premium beef from Field of Family. Order online today at shopfieldofamily.com. Enter now. You can enter once a week, once a day, Thursday through Saturday. Enter every week to play. Enter now at zone1150.com.
I can never listen to Justin Timberlake again the same way. I mean, he'd still make some jams, but that dance video that was circulating, oh my goodness, that guy lost all his cool points. Welcome back into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy will be joining us here in about 11 or so minutes. Get Billy's thoughts here before he heads out for the 4th of July break. And as a reminder, this is our last live show of the week. We will have some best of stuff tomorrow and on Monday. Hopefully everybody enjoys a wonderful 4th of July break. A little news and notes to get into here before we go to the News and Social Center. ACC is going to go with an 8-game schedule, 8-game conference schedule, I should say. And they're going to be going with the 3-5-5 schedule, which is basically 3 permanent rivals and then 5 rotating home and home games, which means everybody will face each other at least once during a 3-year stretch, which is good for fans and good for those players to get a chance to see everybody. The SEC, as you know, is considering doing a 1-7-7 model or potentially a 9-game season, which would be a 9-game conference schedule, which would be a 3-6-6 model, which seems to be the popular one in the clubhouse, if you will. But people are speculating, and I can see why, that if every Power 5 conference switches to an 8-game conference schedule, then would the SEC still go to a 9-game conference schedule, especially if we're considering the college football playoffs soon, when you want to have very similar. But the SEC does their way regardless. I don't think they take their cues. I know they don't take their cues from other conferences, but it does make you wonder if they will stop and maybe think about it a little bit more. But they've been debating, speculating, conversing over this 8-game model or 9-game model for quite a while now. But it looks like the ACC, at least, has decided to go the 8-game conference schedule. And, I guess if that's what works for them, and we'll see what the alliance is about to start here soon too. The college football playoff agreement doesn't end or doesn't. The new contract, I guess, won't start till after 2026. So a lot of this stuff is still in play. We'll have to see how it all plays out. If you want to be a part of the conversation, call us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150, or text us on the ANB text line. We go back to the news and the social center. Emily Fiedler. Emily, hello.
Hello. Yes, so I have a couple text messages. So the first one is Ross from East Texas. He says, I'm going to take the same approach to Aggie football recruiting in the upcoming season as I did as an Aggie fan or for basketball and baseball. There were a lot of unknowns and even some rough spots in both the basketball and baseball seasons, but both teams wound up having exceptional seasons. Let's not lose our minds about Aggie football or recruiting just yet. Just show some grit ourselves, Ags.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, and a couple reasons why. If you would have made an assessment on the A&M football season after the Mississippi State game or the Arkansas game, everything was crashing. It was going to be a terrible season. Are they going to win 6-7 games? Like, that was some of the narratives out there, right? You got to let a season play out. You got to let a great coaching staff do their thing, which is great coaching, great recruiting. We saw it in basketball. If you would have based the season, well, early on they're winning against these inferior opponents, right? But then they go through that 8-game losing streak. If you would have based that basketball season on that and not allow things to play out and not given these players all the support that they deserve, and you saw how things played out there, it would have been a different feeling. Same with baseball. Go back to the Frisco series. Like, things have got to play out. You don't know in the first third, first half, by the first half you have a pretty good feel, but you still got to let an entire season play out because the narrative does change. The narrative changed for A&M football, it changed for basketball, and it changed for baseball, and we're going to see the same thing when it comes to Aggie recruiting. So good thoughts there. Appreciate that, Ross.
Heck, even Ole Miss, they were going to fire Bianca. Everyone wanted to fire him, and what happens? They win the national championship. So it's a long season no matter what season it is.
You're exactly right there. Emily, what else do we have?
Yes, so next we have TexAgs and Taylor, and she said, back to the baseball subject, she said, had to be the combo of Rock and Moss and the TU win. Biggest moment beachside we watched, really for the first time. That belief and resolve that became a hallmark of this team. The LSU series gave us the second view of that, and the team never looked back.
Yeah, I think those are good thoughts here. As in the reason TexAgs is talking about that is because we are reliving some of the top moments since I took over here on July 6th and over the last year, the top 12 moments. And I still think that Texas game as a singular moment was the flag down. Here we are, guys. Let's go. But the Dylan Rock homer, grand slam in that game really set that belief that, like, offensively, you're not going to be able to hang with us. And I forgot to mention this earlier. There was no Trevor Warner. Like, this was a team still trying to figure out who they were. And in that game, that moment, things all changed. They certainly did. We got time for one more, Emily.
Yes, so next we have back to football. We have Jim and Temple, and he says, another was when Bo Nix was like God coming to College Station, and the national media's eyes was under constant pressure the entire game by our Aggie defense. We got in his head. The second half key play was 300-pound Jaden Peavy chasing Bo back to his left. Then he saw Mitchell Clemens coming from the other side, was so scared. He dropped the ball and Michael picked it up. Scoop and score in the north end zone. Those were the two big Aggie D plays I remember the most. We put the fear of God in Bo that day. Need to do it to the Miami quarterback coming in here, Game 3, Kyle Field, and go from there.
You for sure. Go get Van Dyke and put him out of the game. And we did Michael Clemens' touchdown yesterday on the show. It was number 10. And you're exactly right. But the fact that, there was so much talk, if you go back to that game of Bo Nix is back, he's bringing Auburn. After that game, Auburn went down. They had a really nice performance against Bama, but Auburn went crashing down. And that's because I think the A&M defense destroyed Bo Nix. That Auburn offense did absolutely nothing. In fact, if I were them, I would have taken Bo Nix to Caprock Health, right? Because they would have made him feel better because he was hurting. He was absolutely hurting as many times as he was hitting that game. And the way the Aggie defense was just hitting the Auburn offense, they should have gone straight to Caprock Health because what they do there is patient-centered care. 100% locally owned and operated. They're right here in the Brazos Valley, and they put the patient first in every decision that they make. I told you guys I went in Georgia to an urgent care place. They don't put the patient first. They put the patient 97th. We went there with my son with his broken arm. We're just waiting, and we just left. This ain't going to work for us. It was a disastrous situation. That's why I'm happy that we have Caprock right down the street from us. They're going to make you feel better immediately. And they got two very convenient locations with state-of-the-art facilities designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You got the Caprock Hospital in Bryant and the Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have 0 wait times for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. The hospital and 24-hour ER maintain a clean and sterile safe environment. It is Caprock Health.
The show sounds different, but it's still TexAgs. It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuno on the Zone.
It's time. Aggie parking registration is now open.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking assignment online at transport.tamu.edu by July 6th.
Be prepared to update your license plate number during the registration process.
Don't wait. Log on to transport.tamu.edu 24/7.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking now.
Brought to you by Texas A&M Transportation Services.
We're looking for the best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, South 40 Veterinary Clinic, Arrow-S Pest Control, Ground Shuttle, and Radiant Dentistry. Voting ends July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
A half a ring of Cooper's world-famous regular or jalapeno sausage cooked to perfection, cowboy style, over mesquite coals, then paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper sides, beans and barbecue sauce. That's what you get when you ask for Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue's Saw 'em Off Sausage Special, only $9.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
Do I believe Draymond think that he has a really good team that's going to compete at the highest level? Yeah, I think he believes that. Does he believe they got another championship or two inside of that arena? I think he believes that, but I don't personally subscribe to believing that he believes they're going to win 3 out of the next 4.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on The Zone.